What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, and you tuned into another edition of my vlog. Want to say thank you for subscribing. Thanks for all the support. You know, I'm all about that positivity and that motivation. And you know, a lot of times you deal with situations based on your experience or what you predict the outcome to be. And I know a lot of you guys, because of social media, you hear a lot of people talking big, big stuff like they super thugs, or they the ultimate gangster, and they done did this and did that. But let me tell you something, man. A real gangster, he ain't running his mouth. He ain't talking about none of his accolades. He's not gonna brag about whose wig he done split, because his actions are spoken for themselves. He's not gonna advertise. So you got a lot of guys, they out here selling wolf tickets, man. They out here pumping up their image with all these stories to try to project something that they not, because it gets some views, it gets some likes. And it's a false perception, man, a false reality. And a lot of you youngsters out there, a lot of you squares, you feed into that, man. And you buy into something that's not real, thinking that's what a gangster is. That's what a tough guy does. He lets everybody know how tough he is. Nah, man. The toughest cats I run across in life, it never came out their mouth how tough they were or what they done did in the streets. It was always somebody else who spoke on these individuals in silent tones, because they didn't want the person to know they knew, but they had heard or witnessed this person putting down a situation. But a real tough guy, he ain't running his mouth, man. He's not rapping about it. He's not advertising. I mean, it's hard enough to even get those people to do their autobiographies, because they don't want nobody to know half the shit that they've been involved in. So, don't let tattoos and loud talk fool you, because I tell you right now, I've seen the most tattooed person get the shit slapped out of them, get checked, chin checked. I got some homies that I've never heard them really utter 10 sentences back to back, and they were knockout artists. They would knock you the hell out. You know what I mean? I knew some dudes in my neighborhood, I knew they were about their business, but I never asked them. But I heard, and I witnessed from a distance some demos, but they wasn't speaking on it, and they still won't speak on it. So, a lot of times I kick around game just to lace you guys up, so that you don't get your wig split, and so that you could be wiser than what a lot of these people are out here promoting, so you don't get caught up, so you don't put yourself in a situation you can't walk away from. But don't be fooled, man. Don't follow these suckers out here, man. Listen to these dudes out here selling you wolf tickets about what they did, because in the most hushed tones, you might get a gangster to maybe indirectly address something that you might have possibly heard he was involved in. But you'll never get out of a real gangster, out of his mouth, what he actually got down with in the streets, unless he was already convicted of it, or you actually, it was actually part of the news. He's not, like I said, he's not gonna be bragging about it after the fact. He might talk about details that are already, well promoted, well advertised, but he's not going to tell you anything that you don't already know. Only his closest associates really know what type of person he is and what he's capable of. And you know, that's my experience with real gangsters, man. You know, I never, to be honest with you, heard out of a real gangster's mouth to what extent he's actually, you know, put in work. And he's never asked me to what extent I put in work. But you don't ask people like that. You don't talk about the next man's work anyway. You don't name drop to try to get, you know, street cred. Ain't nobody doing that shit. And, you know, I've had conversations with guys who are straight bona fide wig splitters. You know, guys that I know if we were somewhere in a situation, you wouldn't want to be around them unless you were you know prepared, because anything could happen, and you can easily fall victim just as the next man, because these dudes is, you know, silent assassins. So, you know, just a little word of advice, man. You know, real gangsters move in silence. You know, they're not gonna you know, promote their activities. You know, and you know, when I was growing up, man, you know, tattoos was about, you know, a particular status quo. You know, you were maybe involved in a particular organization, as far as, you know, from the pen, or maybe you had put in work, so you had some tattoos to signify that, or maybe you were you know, a real biker. You know, those cats had some, you know, real tattoos. You seen a cat, you're like, oh yeah, he, you know, he's about that life. But now it's decoration, man. These cats are decorating themselves. You know, it's like somebody going and somehow acquiring an airborne patch from the army, or some bullshit, you know, ranger, and they put it on a jacket and they act like they're a veteran. Man, half these cats is busters. I'm just keeping it real. But I'm keeping it real because a lot of you guys are being misled, and it's wrong to mislead somebody to, you know, potentially get themselves caught up. So I'm gonna give you some real game. So Big Herc 916, man, holler at me. Life coaching, you know, getting yourself right, and avoiding the pitfalls and traps of life, man. I'm out.